today interviewing Professor Anderson. Professor Anderson directed a number of police and corrections operations. The recent title was Rensselaer County Criminal Justice Coordinator. Earlier, he ran college classes in prison and worked in the area of juvenile crime. Thank you for allowing me to interview today. First, just a general question to start. What is your belief on our gun control system today?
I think the gun control system is largely outdated. I think we need to revisit it. It's an area where we lose 30,000 people a year, sometimes unnecessarily. I don't think it needs a huge overhaul, but I think we need to be able to at least temporarily take guns away from people who can't have them right now.
Would you do stricter background checks, or would you try to take away guns from people that already have them? What would you do?
Actually, I think what you'd probably have to do is grandfather people and people who already have them legally. I can't see any force that's going to go into someone's house and take the guns away. I don't necessarily advocate. I also want to explain to you that the guns aren't all the same thing. Handguns are treated very, very differently than shotguns. Where most of the country, you could walk into a Walmart and buy shotguns, and walk over and buy a box of shells and merely walk out. Handguns are very different.
Norway, as you've shown in class, has a very interesting policy on guns, and a lot of the cops and prison guards don't have weapons. So do you think that's something that we could try to implement long term?
That is possible. I think what we'd have to do is take a look at American society. American society, and you know this as well as I do, the iconic American figure is a cowboy. And it's a person who has good and bad things. They're fiercely independent. They're responsible for their own activities. And at the same time, everybody has to have their own horse, their own gun, their own saddle, that type of thing. But understanding that Americans are violent goes a long way to explain this.
Conflict in school shootings has arisen the topic of arming teachers. Now, as a professor, what's your view on that?
I think that's foolish. I think it's very foolish. I think when you talk about arming teachers, it's virtually the same as arming plumbers. It's the same as arming airline pilots. That's a very broad class of people. I think I know how that came up. If somebody said, for example, in Sandy Hook, which was a disaster, if somebody said, how would you prevent this? It's not a very good question. The only way you could have prevented something like that would be to have somebody who was capable of defending a school in the classroom or in the school. So it leads you to logically think, well, maybe we should arm teachers. I don't think that's the case.
Just additional security in the schools.
I've been a teacher, and I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think it's an appropriate role.
Okay.
And I don't think more guns, by the way, Brian, are the answer.
Ultimately, the president has the final say. Do you think the NRA is swaying him?
Oh, I have every reason to suspect that the NRA is much more influential than virtually any other group in this particular area. Just to tell you quickly, the NRA, I had been an NRA member for years and was a hunting and fishing writer. This is why I came here. I came to New York. The NRA was a gun safety program, and the idea was to teach people to shoot safely, to take care of weapons, to not put them in the hands of children, to not do a lot of things to protect actually what was kind of a hunting heritage of ours. And since then, since 40 years ago, it's gotten more and more political, and it is doing things that I think are designed to preserve itself, as opposed to bring about any type of safety.
Okay.
You saw where in Las Vegas somebody had a device called a bump stock that would allow a perfectly legal gun to fire like a perfectly illegal gun, and fire automatically. And it took forever to get there would be a slam dunk. You would think the next day there wouldn't be any. And so you have some groups that are a little too influential.
Thank you very much
You're welcome.
for your time today.